everyone! Thank you for joining me today. I'm Dawn, together with Sports Singapore. And for today, I'm going to be sharing with you guys some exercises that you can do at home with socks. Yes, you can get quite a good cardio workout, a good workout in general, just with the use of your socks. But you do need to have floor that is not carpeted. You're going to need to find a spot in your house that is not carpeted. I think here in Singapore, it's much easier for us as opposed to some other countries where most of the house is actually carpeted, right? So yeah, find yourself a spot in the home where you can actually have your feet gliding on the ground with the socks, but you will also need a mat or a towel to cushion your knees and sometimes your hands as well when we're doing some of the exercises here. The thing with the socks is it's going to be able to give us a non-impact class, but it can be very high intensity. Like I mentioned earlier, you can get quite a good workout. So do listen out for the options that are available. Whenever I say option 1, it's going to be much easier. Option 2 is going to be harder. So do take the right options for yourself. If you're not so sure, use your breathing as a guide, right? So if you find that you're shallow breathing, you're not breathing deep, or you're holding your breath just to do the exercises, then you might want to slow it down a little bit, okay? Now, there are also options for people who have wrist issues and you cannot rest your weight on your hands. You can rest on your forearms. Take a break in between when possible. It will take you time to build up your stamina. It will take you time to build up your strength. So please don't expect to be able to do all the exercises that are demonstrated, right? Not just for today's practice, but any exercise that you go for. Not just my classes, but any class that you go for. Build up your stamina and build up your strength and your technique first, right? Before you start to work a lot harder. Okay, you got to start from somewhere, but make sure that you don't injure yourself along the way. So like I said, we're going to have to find a slippery spot in the house and to have your cushioning available. That is your towel or your mat. The first exercise that we're going to do while we're standing is going to require you to fold up your mat in case you don't have space like myself. So at the same time, it's going to give you additional cushioning. All right, so I'm going to have my right leg standing on the mat. It could be, a carpeted part of your house as well, where it just meets up with the tiles part of the house as well. That could work. All right, so we're going to have our hands on our hips. What I'd like you to make sure that with the breathing is when you are exhaling, that is the effort part of the movement. So here's how it goes. I'm going to inhale to slide my left leg back. I'm still trying to keep my spine upright. Exhale, I come back up to stand. Now, option 1, you work with a smaller movement. On the exhale, you come back. Option 2, you go for a bigger range of motion. On the exhale, you press to come back up. Of course, you can always hold onto a table or a chair or maybe even your wall to help you with balancing if the need is there, right? So we're going to go for 15 repetitions altogether. Adjust where needed. So you can always sometimes go for option 1 and switch it to option 2 and just mix and match until you can maybe work all the way with option 2 in time, okay? So let's find a focal point in front. I will always demonstrate first because whenever it comes to balancing, if you're turning your head to look towards the screen, which is on the side, it can be very distracting and it can actually take your balance off. So it's harder for you to execute those exercises, okay? So let's look straight ahead, right? Left toes are on the ground. Get ready and inhale, slide it back. You have 2 choices. Exhale, slide it forwards. And 2, inhale back and exhale. The thing is to put weight on that back foot and exhale, coming back up. And 4, making sure, watch that front knee. Exhale, you do not want to have that knee jut forwards. So you want to slide your weight backwards instead of jutting your knee towards the front on that front leg, all right? Inhale back and exhale up. Like I said earlier, if you need to take a rest in between, go for it. All right, inhale back and exhale up. Let's do 5 more here, all right? Inhale and up. Now your hands are resting on your hips. 4 more, on and off, just use your fingers to dig into your belly and make sure that your inner weight training belts are still functioning so your core does not go to sleep halfway. Let's do 2 more here, okay? Inhale back and exhale up. 1 more time, inhale back and exhale up and stop. All right, so we're gonna do the same thing on the other side. Ooh, One thing I want to remind you guys is if you have socks that have holes, please don't use them because you're gonna get blister or you will not be able to slide as your skin is rubbing against the ground. All right, I've had people like that. They're like, oh my gosh, I gotta buy new socks. Okay, so it isn't because of this that you get holes. Maybe, all right, if you don't cut your nails properly, if it snags. But yeah, get a good pair of socks that don't have any holes when you're doing these exercises. All right, hands on the hips. We're gonna go over to the other side now. Get ready. Right toes on the ground, left leg in front on the mat. Make sure that you are not standing too far in front of the mat either because you probably won't be able to slide very far at all. Okay, so you are actually positioned right at the edge, like I said earlier, if it's carpet, where carpet meets tiles. All right, so hands on the hips, right leg on the right toes on the ground. And we're gonna inhale back and exhale up. Remember your choices, okay? 2, walk with a smaller distance. Exhale for option 1, all right? And 3, and up. And 4, and up. Keep your shoulders relaxed. 5, keep your ears over your shoulders, all right? So stack your spine up tall. Exhale. And 8, and exhale on the effort. 9, exhale on the effort. 10, press down, pull in. Last 5 to go. And up. This is actually pretty good for people who have lower back tightness as well, okay? And up. 3 more. Exhale. 2 more. 1 last one here. Inhale. And exhale. Up. And stop. Relax. All right. Shake your legs out. I'm going to still continue to have my mat folded up this way, but I'm actually going to be standing facing you this time. We're going to work a little bit around the inner thighs as well. Now watch, hands are on the hips. I'll show you how it looks like from the side in a moment, okay, but watch the front first. So if this was my box, shoulders to the hips, I don't want that box to change its shape at all, okay? So keep it steady. That means you having to switch on your abs, your back, your hips, your butt, your thighs to keep your hips pretty much level as well as what's upstairs, right? So we're gonna keep them engaged around the bicycle shorts and watch that outside leg, all right? I have my foot that's on the mat pretty close to the edge like I did for the earlier exercise. Foot that's on the towels, I'm gonna slide it out. On the exhale, leg that's on the mat, I'm gonna bend that knee to pull myself in. All right, so it's a sideways movement, okay, but the weight will generally be more on that leg that's on the mat in order to pull myself back in. We're gonna do 10 here. Watch again. Inhale out. Exhale, bend that knee on the mat side and pull to come back up. All right, so I just did 2. We're gonna do 10 together. Get ready. And inhale. A bigger movement is harder. A smaller distance is easier. Go again. 3, and exhale. 4, and exhale. 5, and out. 6, exhale. 7, and out. Last 3, 2, 1 more time, and exhale and stop. All right, so the leg that was on the mat is actually the one that was working a lot harder. Okay, now I'm gonna move my mat so that I can still face you. Okay, so just make sure that you're able to have enough distance on both sides to do the exercise, right? So foot that's on the mat, once again, is pretty close to the edge, right? So you have enough space to slide in and out because if you don't, you're only going to be able to work with a very small angle, right? So positioning at the beginning is important, right? Hands on the hips. Let's do 10 here as well, all right? So slide the outside leg away and then exhale, inside leg pulls in. All right, and 2. So you're going to feel the inner thigh here stretching as you press down and pull in. And 3, and exhale. And 4, the moment you bend the leg that's on the mat, 5, you're gonna feel the inner thigh here stretch. All right, and 6, exhale. 7, exhale. 8, and out. 2 more, and out. 1 more time. Exhale and stop. Relax. Shake your legs out. Very nice. Okay, now come down and take a seat. Finally. I'm gonna keep my mat folded this way, but for some of you, you might want to have a towel over your mat if need be, right? Some of us do use our mats outdoors. Not that you're able to do it very much recently or at all, but have a towel to put between your body and your mat if you need to, right? This mat doesn't leave the house at all for me, so still pretty clean. Now watch, I'm gonna have my feet on the ground once again, obviously, so they can slide, but my bum is very close to the edge of the mat. For reasons that I mentioned earlier, you wanna have that big distance to be able to slide your feet, right? Now, I'm gonna have my heels, or rather my feet, just about hip width distance apart. What we're going to work on now is the area behind your thighs as well as your hips. Now, check out the position of the rest of the body, right? Very often, people would tend to arch the back of the neck, jut the chin forwards, and then have the shoulders maybe shrugged up this way. I want you to use only what is necessary. So relax your shoulders, drop your chin in towards your chest, or rather tuck your chin towards your chest so the back of the neck is able to come closer towards the ground, and that helps us to stretch that area as well. Don't worry so much about the double chin, okay? So just make sure that you're not compressing the back of the neck. The jutting of the chin forwards is what we already tend to do too much of unnecessarily because of technology. So I like you to avoid that here and just give that back of the neck a stretch. Hands are down. You do not have to pull the mat. It's not going to help you very much in this case, right? So press your hands down rather. It's going to be better for you. Arms are straight, palms are down, pushing down. Now I'm gonna have my bum lifting up. Let's do this a couple of times first, right? Now lower your hips down and then exhale, lift your hips up to the highest point. Do it again. Inhale, lower the hips down. 50-50 weight on each foot. Exhale, lift it up, and I'd like you to hold it out here. Now, can you slide one leg forwards for me until your toes are pointing up towards the ceiling? But let's have both hips, right and left hip, at the same height, all right? And then exhale, pull the leg back in until the foot is flat and it returns back to start. Do that again on the other side, all right? This time, left leg goes forwards, I slide it out, but I did not let my left hip dip down towards the ground. Exhale, pull it back in. Let's do 4 more on each side, okay? Inhale, right leg slides out. Exhale, right leg slides in. Not too tough yet, right? Inhale and exhale. So on and off later, when we need to take a break or rest for a bit, take it easy. Exhale. This is what you guys will do. This is your option 1, right? Inhale, left leg forwards. Hips are still level. The right and the left hip are still pretty much at that same height. Exhale. Last time on that left side, inhale, slide it out, toes point up, and exhale, coming back in. Let's lower both hips down towards the ground. And you would have felt a lot of back muscles working there, a lot of hip muscles working there, and obviously the back of the thighs as well. So if that was already pretty tough for you, please repeat that for another round. If not, we are going for, watch, hips are going up. This time, we start off with a small movement to the front first, and my feet are still flat. I just slid my feet towards the front. I don't have to straighten them out just yet. Exhale, with the bum still up in the air, I'm going to try to pull back. At this point, some of you will feel like your thighs want to cramp. So here's option 1.5, right? There's 1, there's 1.5, and then later on there's 2. So watch, option 1.5. I'm going to lift my hips up. Inhale, out. Exhale, bum down, pull in. Lift the hips up again. Inhale, out. Bum down, pull the legs in. Lift the hips up again. I just did 2 rounds. Option 2, inhale out. Exhale, pull it back in. Inhale out. Exhale, pull it back in. All right, so you have 3 choices, all right? Choose the right one for yourself. And you know what? You can still alternate in between any of those 3. We have 10 repetitions. if you need to totally rest, please go ahead as well, okay? Now, let's keep our knees close together, hip width distance apart, all right? Do not let them flare out, all right? Take an inhale, exhale all the way up, and here we go. Inhale forwards, exhale, and 2. So if you need to work with a smaller range of motion, exhale, go ahead and do that. And 3, and out, and the hips are still up, all right? 4, and pull, and 5, and pull, and 6, and pull, last 4, last 3, 2 more, one more time, and stop, relax, stretch it out. Right leg comes up, hands either behind your thighs or behind your lower legs. Pull and feel that stretch along the back of your legs. Hold it right there. So very often people, like I said, will cramp when they do that last exercise that I showed you. Don't be surprised, okay? It's not meant to be easy, but it's a different way that we tend to work our bodies, right? We don't tend to, do movements like these, right? And change other side. So if you need to, hands behind your knees or hands behind your thighs. Once again, hold it out there. You can flex your toes, you can flex your foot, or you can point your toes. It's up to you as well, right? Holding it there for just one last breath. All right, hands behind your thigh, bend your knee, and then just go ahead and push your leg forwards. Push, 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 chin to the chest, look at your knee, push, 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 and roll to come up. If you didn't manage to come up that way, just go ahead and lay on your side and push yourself up. I've got one last exercise here for you, all right? And this will require you to rest on your hands. So let's flip on over onto our hands. Like I said earlier, if you need to have your towel, to cushion your wrists or your elbows, please go ahead and do that, okay? So from here, I'm gonna have my hands shoulder distance apart. Again, I don't want to have my hands too far in because if I do that, I won't have much room to move my legs, right? So I want to have my hands quite close to the edge of the mat. Now from here, I like you to slide one leg back and then slide the other leg back as well. On the exhale, we're going to try to bring both knees just a little in towards the ground. So I didn't rest my knees to the floor. I'm going to bring it back once again. That is 1, right? Now, if that is tough for you, what I'd like you to do is to hold it in your plank, maybe on your forearms, one knee down, one leg back, one knee down, one leg back, all right? So let's try the first option together first, all right? So make sure that your elbows are just slightly bent. Try not to lock your elbows, especially for Asian girls. We tend to have more hypermobile joints, right? So just try to keep the muscles that surround your joints active, push away from the ground. So let's come into a plank position first. Right knee comes in and right leg extends back. Left leg comes in, left leg extends back. Let's do it again. And back. And left. And back. Again. And left. 2 more each way. One more each way. And last. And lower both knees down. So that is how you would execute option 1. Option 2, we're going to have both legs move together at the same time. All right, so let's get ready. Inhale here. Exhale, both knees lower. Inhale back. Exhale, both knees lower. Inhale back. And 3. And 4. And 5. If you need to, you can start to lower one leg at a time. All right, let's do 3 more here. Exhale. And 2. And 1. And then stop. Lower your knees down towards the ground. Now, I'd like you to just take a rest for your lower back here. It can be a bit strenuous for some of us around the lower back, especially if you're beginning with weakness around your backs to start off with, right? Change does take time. So just because you're working on a particular part, it's not the only one that's affected, okay? So just notice how the rest of the body feels as well when you're carrying out those exercises, right? Let's go for a bit of a stretch here first, all right? So let's have your socks off. You don't need them anymore. Stretching is important at the end of your practice because it does help us to alleviate tightness that comes with training, as well as to facilitate recovery, right? Now, if you need to, bend your leg. If you can, keep your right leg straight. Left leg is bent. We're going to inhale and then exhale, gently melt the chest towards your thigh. Don't go too far yet. The moment you feel that stretch behind your thigh, you're good. If you can, you go lower. If you can, you go lower. So at the same time, I'm also stretching my back. Hold it there for another 3 deep breaths. And 2. And 1. All right, let's change it over. Other side. Left leg is straight. Right leg is bent. If you need to, bend that knee. If you can, keep that leg straight. Take an inhale. And then facing your thigh, exhale, fold forwards. If you need to, catch your calf. If you can, grab a hold of your foot, all right? And then melt to ease yourself deeper into the stretch. I want you to be able to feel that stretch along the back of your thigh, not pain around your spine, right? Holding it there for another 2 and 1 and relax. All right. Let's have our legs crossed this way and then allow your right ear to drop towards the right shoulder, gently stretching the side of the neck, and then do the same thing on the other side. And then come back towards the center, hands interlocked behind you. Press your palms against one another and then bring your knuckles over towards your right side waist. Press your elbows back, right? So you should feel a gentle stretch along the front of your shoulders. And as you press your elbows back, right, that stretch just intensifies a bit more, right? Forces you to open across from shoulder to shoulder or across your chest a lot more as well. Let's change it over. Other side. Knuckles over towards the other side of your waist and then breathe deep, sit tall. So those exercises that I showed you earlier with the socks can be done every day and very slowly relax. Okay, for those of you who want to go a little crazy with your socks workout and just get the sweat pouring out and your heart pumping, here are a couple of movements that you can try. For each one, I would recommend you to put a timer there and try to stay there for at least 45 seconds to a minute. But just so that I can show you a couple more exercises, I'm just going to show you a few where you're going to need your socks on, obviously, and you're going to need some padding for your hands also, right? So from here, I'm going to just have you come onto your palms, shoulder width distance apart. We're going to have your legs coming onto all fours first before you float one leg up. Now I'm going to slide one leg out to the side, come back center, and switch it over. So that's 1, okay? I'm not putting a timer on here, okay, but I'm going to be doing 20 on each side. So you can follow me for repetitions, which I would recommend if you have difficulty focusing on your breathing. But if not, I want you to set the timer there and just put an alarm so you know when it's time to head off. So squeeze as many repetitions out as possible so that you can make this a cardiovascular workout, right? So get ready, and here's 1. Other side. Palms are down, all right? And 3, so I'm going to have my weight bearing throughout my whole palm and my fingers, right? Sliding one leg out at a time. It's going to help me to make sure that I dip my hips low towards the ground as well. So the abs are working, the legs are working. Let's do 10 more on each side, okay? Push into the floor or push into the mat with your arms that are resting on the ground so that your shoulders stay stable. Let's do 7 more on each side. By now, you should be feeling your heart rate coming up. All right, and 6, 5, 4. I really like this spine twist that I'm getting right here as well. And 3, and 2, 1 last one. And stop. Relax. All right. Definitely got the heart rate up for that one. Okay, so rotate around the wrist. If you feel any pain setting in, Now, the next one that I'd like you to do will require you to have a little bit more care for your hands, all right? So I don't recommend you doing it on your forearms for this. You can try, okay, but you probably won't get as big a range as if you were on your hands, all right? So it's a combination. Hands about shoulder distance apart. Exhale, I lift my hips, I come pull in both legs together. Inhale, I go back. Exhale, I bring my knees in this time. And then inhale, I go back to start. So that is 1 rep. We're gonna go for 10 repetitions in total. Similarly, you can put a timer on for your phone and then just let it beep when it's time to stop after 1 to 2 minutes, okay? So get ready. We'll do 10 here together. Inhale, exhale, 1. Back, pull. Up, pull. 3, 4, 5. Make sure you have good socks here with you, all right? 6, 7, 8. 2 more. Last one. And stop. So there you have it. All right, just a few simple exercises that can easily get your heart rate up. So the thing is, if you have wrist issues with, either one or both hands, doing those exercises on your wrist can be a little bit uncomfortable. And even if you don't have any injuries around your wrist, these are good exercises that you can do on your own to just get the wrists to be decompressed. So number 1, opposite hand comes in, you're gonna hold onto your wrist. So if you can see the bones in my wrist, I'm gonna hold below where this bone here starts to bulge out. I'm gonna hold it above it, right, where my hand is. I'm gonna start to draw little circles, round and round, round and round. So maybe draw about 10 circles on one side, and then you're gonna change, other side. So I like to do this even when I'm not carrying out any weight-bearing exercises on my hands, because it really helps to just, do away with all the tension that we have after holding mobile devices, typing on keyboards for hours throughout the day. So you can give this stretch a try. And then of course, popcorn your fingers too. So I do hope that you all enjoyed today's workout with socks. Can be easy. Earlier exercises are easier. And the last 2 that I showed you, it's when you really want to get that little burst of energy up and you want to work up a sweat, right? So it's not very difficult. Again, I may ask you to do 10 repetitions or 20 repetitions or 1 minute or 2 minutes. Build up to that. You're not expected to start off the first time doing it and being able to carry all the exercises out perfectly, right? So take your time and let your body change in its due course. Of course, with more regular training, you're going to see the changes a lot faster. Stay healthy, stay active, and stay safe, everybody. See y'all soon. Bye.